5 Minutes to Health Workshop series. We are on the we are in the health score workshop. Let's start a timer. Remember, we do these workshops Tuesdays and Thursdays when we can most times. So often something happens. But we do these. We broke up our workshops that we can do. You can always schedule a whole workshop for your group or for your work or for yourself. But we just broke them up and made them into 5 little minute sections. And we're going through the health score workshop, in which you can get your own health score and come up in the different 7 wellness attributes. And so we just finished up with posture. And now we're going on to nervous system. So let's start a timer. And remember, all the forms, that everything that you need is on Back to Life Chiropractic, ky.com in the Back to Life system tab. You can find all these score sheets and everything. So the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, is made out of the Nutritech survey form and the thermal scan and the pulse wave profile. And so those are the things that can help you figure out what your nervous system score is. So, and then we were talking about earlier in another workshop, a lot of people think prescriptions and surgeries and things are the answers to health problems, when we know that's not. Because the leading cause of death in the United States is medical doctors doing their business with their drugs and their surgeries. And so and there's another attitude, interference to your nervous system is the key to good health. So if you can remove the interference to the triad of health, or your 6 systems of your body, or your nervous system, or your autonomic nervous system. So that's why we want to get a good score of your nervous system, because your nervous system is actually formed, one of the first things that formed in your body. So your brain and your spinal cord are one of the first things that are created. And then everything starts to branch off from your nervous system. And so life impulses come from your brain down your spinal cord to every part and cell of your body. So in your nervous system, it's kind of like wires. Like these wires are going to all your cells. And so one of the things that you need to happen is, as this life force is coming down from your spinal cord and it's going out your spinal nerves, that you don't want this to be interfered with. Like, this needs to be flowing. And so one of the things that we have found out is that if you have interference to the nervous system, then the life impulses out of the spinal nerve just doesn't get to where it's going. And then that allows your body not to function as well. So, life impulses travel to every cell in the body. So, like, when this is interfered with, so you want to figure out if you have, any interference to your nervous system. And so one of the easy you can do all by yourself is the symptom survey form, which is one of the forms that we have off our website. And so it has 2 categories: the sympathetic dominant and parasympathetic dominant. So waiting for the train to come by. So the sympathetic dominant and parasympathetic dominant. So it's like the flight-fight mechanism. So you want to see if you're more sympathetic dominant or parasympathetic dominant. You should be in balance. So what you can do is you take this test, you can score it yourself, and then see where you come out. You can see if you're more sympathetic, parasympathetic dominant. And so if you're, if your total score adds up to 0.5, you score yourself in the wellness, because you shouldn't have anything on there, for one, if your nervous system is balanced and everything's working well. 6 to 12, we would say average, and 13 or more would be sickness or crisis, means your nervous system's not balanced, it's not working well. So another thing you can do is thermal scan. Thermal scan is a scan where that's skin temperature is affected by your nervous system. So if you go someplace that actually has thermal scan, you can get a score, and the score will tell you, if you're in wellness or you're average or you're in sickness. So you can just write that down. So if you're 0 to 54, you're in sickness and crisis. And then if you're average, 55 to 79, and 80 to 100 is wellness. And then sometimes when you get the reports, they don't have a score, and you'll have to add up the blacks and reds. But if you have a lot of blacks and reds, then you're in crisis. Blues and greens are average, and white are wellness. So then you can figure out the score there. So excuse me, nervous system test is the pulse wave. And the pulse wave, let's see. So the pulse wave, it actually reads your pulse, and then if your pulse varies or not. Excuse me. So so this is the heart math test, and we actually have the pulse wave profile too. But so you want a high coherence of 80 or above, and so what this does is it reads your heart rate variability of your pulse. Excuse me. And so you can see if your nervous system is out of balance from your pulse rate, because your pulse rate and your nervous system are all they all act together to keep you well and keep your nervous system well. So, excuse me. So that's 5 minutes already. So the nervous system pulse wave is another nice test, and it's just reads your pulses, and then it just and we do it for 5 minutes. So you sit with this little recording device that checks your pulse, and then for 5 minutes and sees if you're high coherence, medium, or low coherence. And so if you're 80 or 100, then you're in prevention, because you want to be a high coherence. That means you're breathing right, and then your pulse is right, and then your nervous system's in balance. So, and then you can give yourself a score here. And then once you get down to that score, then you can add all that up, and then put that in this area here, nervous system. So next time we do the health score workshop, we'll do feet and arches, because feet and arches are very important. We actually made them one of the 7 wellness attributes because they cause so many problems above, like in your knees and your spine, which actually affects your posture, your nervous system, and like your joints and your muscle tone. So that is actually on there. It's a very easy thing to do, but we'll talk about that next time. So remember, you can get all these forms off backtolifechiropracticky.com. And when we do the health score, one of the things that we do is we always have a test that you can do that you don't have to do anywhere else. So each category has some kind of test. So the Nutritech symptom survey is one thing that you can do in order to get your nervous system score.